Today, my favorite movement enthusiasts, we're gonna learn the 3 best calisthenics skills. And while that is my subjective opinion, it is indeed the correct one. And we're gonna start out with one that a lot of people want to learn, but they struggle with because they fail to think about one of the most important factors when it comes to advancing in calisthenics in general. So if you're ready, let's go and have some fun. That very first exercise is going to be the L-sit hold. And here's why most people will never achieve this exercise. Not because they are too weak or not working enough on their strength, but because they are not flexible enough to get into a position where they can raise their legs from here. Now, it doesn't look like much, but this position does require a lot of posterior chain flexibility. And you can test it out. For most people, if they want to sit down with legs completely extended, pulling their toes in and extending their upper body, most of you will already have a nice stretch in their posterior chain. And forgetting to work on the flexibility is going to bite you in the ass sooner or later, and it will when you are working on the L-sit hold. So we will work on the flexibility, the strength, the coordination, and the control, starting with a very easy exercise. This. It doesn't look like much. All we want to do is switch between anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. Around your back, relax that position, lengthen your toes, release all the musculature in your posterior chain, and then pull those toes in and extend your back, tilt your pelvis until you feel a nice stretch in your entire posterior chain. And once you're here, you're gonna bend forward the slightest bit. Reverse, release, and repeat. Now this exercise, while it does stretch our posterior chain, it also starts working on the strength in our anterior chain, as well as the control over our quads, over our hip flexors, over our entire hip musculature. And this is going to help us not only with the L-sit, but with a lot of other exercises in calisthenics. And in between, you can go for a static stretch as well. Touch your toes, just like so. Take a deep breath in. And when breathing out, extend those legs and extend your back as well, getting even more stretch in your posterior chain going. Now, this improvised contraption is gonna make things so much easier for us. You're gonna elevate your butt, and you want another elevation, because we don't just wanna work on our hip flexors and anterior chain strength, like so, but we also wanna start adding our arms and shoulders. Elevate, left side, sit back down. Elevate, right side, sit back down. 2 things to keep in mind. 1, we want to pull that leg up as much as we can, flexing here. 2, release here, combining both flexibility and strength. And we want to hold the top for 10 to 15 seconds, or at the very least, get to the point where we can. Switch it up, 15 seconds, left side, 15 seconds, right side. And before you make it harder on yourself, we're gonna do the same thing on our fingertips, because we need to strengthen our hands. And I would suggest taking your time while strengthening your hands, because while the musculature can get pretty strong pretty fast, your tendons and ligaments are gonna take some time. Big sit up and sit up, and get rid of that butt elevation. Keep the hand elevation. Sit up, sit up. Once again, on our fingertips. Sit up. And of course, we're always holding for 15 seconds. And then you can already start elevating from here and try and hold for a handful of seconds. And then you can elevate up and hold. Pull in your toes for maximum stretch. And trust me, you're gonna get there pretty fast, but please don't forget about the flexibility or mobility part, because this is just as important as the strength. Now, the second exercise is one of my absolute favorites, and that is the extended crane. Both hands flat like so. We have a lot of rotation around our lumbar spine, which feels absolutely amazing and works a lot on our spinal mobility as well. Amazing bonus to have when working on any strength-related calisthenics exercises. Keep our fingers as far apart as possible to have maximum surface area. Shift our body weight forward until our legs raise, and once we're here, we're going to slowly, in a controlled manner, extend our legs and hold statically. So let's break it down step by step. Once again, we're going to start with the mobility part at first, because this one is very easy to work on. Lay down, back fully flat on the ground. One foot flat on the ground as well, and the other foot placed on our knee. We're gonna cross over, right hand on the left knee, which should be the elevated one, and we're gonna go into complete lumbar rotation, bringing both legs all the way to one side while turning our upper body, our head, and our arm to the other side. Releasing any sort of tension in and around our spinal erectors through this amazing rotational flexibility. Now, there are two steps between the extended crane you can use to make this a lot easier on you, and the first one is working on your crow. Extended arms, external shoulder rotation up on our tiptoes, and start bending forward and let your feet raise. Try and hold for 15 to 20 seconds, release and repeat. And once you've worked a little bit on this, it is gonna be much easier to get into this spinal rotation. Hands once again here, place your triceps on your leg, and once again, we're gonna start shifting our body weight just like so until our feet leave the ground. Play around with it a little bit. Take your time, find out where your body starts shifting and work on staying in that position for 20 seconds. And once you have that, now all you need to do from here is start extending your legs. Open up those hands, get into the crane position, and start extending one leg. Reverse, extend the other leg. Reverse, and over time, slowly, carefully, you should be able to extend both legs and hold for 15 to 20 seconds. This exercise builds absurd full body control, a lot of mobility, and a lot of core strength, which we're going to require in all sorts of calisthenics and non-calisthenics exercises. And last but definitely not least, we have Skin the Cat, which looks a lot scarier than it actually is, and it works immensely on your shoulder mobility and a lot on your scapular control. Now, to work on this one, you can either find yourself a dip bar, but what I recommend is using a loaded barbell, because this is going to make it a lot safer. Sit down right below that barbell, make sure that it's at least higher than your head, grab on both sides, and now you can take your time to roll into that position. One foot, the other foot, slowly, carefully, get right here, and once you are, you're gonna move forward, up, and sit back down with your legs completely extended. Now this is going to force you into the exact same shoulder or scapular position you would have if you were doing the classic Skin the Cat. And this is all about mobility. Relax into this position and back into a deep squat. Legs back once again and push down. Hold here as well. Take a short break and once again repeat. Once you have mastered the step-by-step movement, you can move this bar up slightly, and now you can repeat it in a hanging position from here. Pull in your knees, start rolling over using your own strength and your own control, and you are very close to the ground. Just for safety's sake, hold right here, and of course we want to learn how to reverse this movement. You can first help yourself with your legs, just like so, but over time you want to be able to reverse without having to assist yourself. Work on that, low to the ground. You can place a couple of mats below you, just in case, until you feel very comfortable, very safe in this movement pattern, and then you can move on to doing the exact same thing on a pull-up bar. This way, you can practically be a master of this movement before you even get close to working on a higher position where you could technically hurt yourself if you do not take care. Now, I would suggest allocating at least 20 minutes for each of these exercises per workout, and if you can, do it twice a week, because we are working on a skill that is going to require a little bit more than just going from classic hypertrophy exercises. However, they are a lot of fun to work on, and they have a massive amount of benefits, from flexibility to strength to coordination, static strength, dynamic strength, and muscle endurance, and overall very holistic exercises. Not to mention that they're going to make you look like an absolute goddamn calisthenics beast. With that said, sadly, that's all the time I've left for you today. If you liked the video, like the video and subscribe, and please guys, check out other videos on this channel, because we literally have new ones every single day, which means that I will see you guys tomorrow. Captain Cairo, peace out.